Oof. Have you seen the pictures of that actor?
Which actor?
What a glow up.
Cute.
Cute? They look like someone's 40-year-old mother. They just look so much better before.
Before?
When they were classy. This is not the face of a role model.
Business owner, producer, incredible talent. Sounds like a role model to me.
Yeah, but they were all those things before this too.
Like when they were a kid?
When they were talented without needing to change everything about themselves.
Do you know how aging works?
This isn't about aging.
You just said they look 40.
You don't get it. They're just not relatable anymore. I personally just don't relate to them anymore, and I don't like that feeling.
This is a human being you're talking about, and while celebrity might make people feel untouchable, you're really just dehumanizing them to make yourself feel better about this comfort you have around the fact that they have aged and grown into someone with their own voice and, yes, style. And maybe you should think about that.
No, I think they just look old now. I'm going to tell them. As long as women have been around, people have been putting them in their place. So let's talk about it. Millie Bobby Brown, Rachel Zegler, and Daphne Keane. What are two things they all have in common? Incredible talent, and their social media is a steaming trash fire as soon as you look at the comments. All three of these actors became famous when they were still incredibly young. Rachel Zegler was just 17 when she got the starring role in West Side Story. Daphne Keane was 12 when she was in Logan, and Millie Bobby Brown was just 11 years old when she starred in Stranger Things. These women have grown up before our very eyes, and it seems like they've become so much more mature than the people who have watched them grow up. But Romy, you might say, social media is a trash fire. You know it, I know it, and these celebrities, they're untouchable. They've got money, they've got power, they probably don't even notice all these things people are saying. But if I grew up in the spotlight, if I became a household name because I was incredibly talented at something that I was really passionate about, if I wanted to share an achievement only for what seems like the whole world to tell me that it was undeserved, it would take a toll. So many times I have been told that any vitriol I get online, and let me just say that the only people telling me this are the people giving the vitriol, because that's always the way, that if I get any hate online, it's my own fault. Because I put myself there, and by having a presence online, whether it's posting pictures on an Instagram account with 200 followers, making fun cosplay videos on TikTok, or creating content here, I am opening up myself and welcoming, nay, asking for people to tell me all the ways in which they don't like me. I made a video about dyeing my hair once, and someone said, lose some weight and you'll be hot. I made a video about men sexualizing me on the internet once, and another man said, get off the internet then. We get so used to all of this abhorrent shit every day online that we start to normalize it, and the moment that you stand up to bullies, you're called an attention seeker, a pick-me, a crybaby, a snowflake. The list goes on. And it's completely evident that if you are young, a woman, a celebrity, and have any kind of opinion about anything, you're going to get absolutely slammed online. You want to experiment with fashion and makeup? You're not allowed to do that. You don't look like an 11-year-old anymore? You're not allowed to do that. You spoke about being a part of making positive changes to a story you're telling? You're not allowed to do that. The hatred for Rachel Zegler online absolutely blows my mind. 17-year-old Rachel Zegler has said that she had to prove to movie executives that she was Latina enough for the role of Maria in West Side Story. And as the star of the new Snow White remake coming out in a couple of weeks, what do you think the main problem people have with Rachel is? People with their full chests are literally saying She's not white enough to be Snow White. That matters to people, apparently. Let me just repeat that. You don't think someone is white enough to play a role. You don't think someone is white enough. In the political landscape we're currently in, that's a really crazy thing to be admitting to. And people are admitting it with the whole chests on their personal accounts. I once saw someone make like a 12-minute YouTube video and it all boiled down to she's not white enough. Like it fucking matters. There was a fan cast that went around last year for a live action version of Rapunzel, and white women on the internet were sobbing because the fan cast was a woman of colour. And they were so sad that they would not see their white blonde selves represented. Do you want to know the groups of people who historically don't get to see themselves represented? The absolute obsession with whiteness is crazy, and if you call people out on their racism, they get so defensive. It's like, no, it's not racism. I just care about my younger self being able to see herself. And I get it. I too live a life trying to make my 5-year-old self proud. But you know what my 5-year-old self would not have given a flying shit about? What colour skin a Disney princess had. So if your biggest complaint about Disney's live action remake of Snow White, a film that 10 years ago everyone was having a ball calling problematic. Like, do you not remember those posts where people were talking about how Belle was a victim of Stockholm Syndrome and Aurora was kissed against her will and Snow White was dead when the prince made out with her? So if your biggest problem with a live adaptation of a fairy tale that is in fact problematic is that the main actor playing Snow White isn't white enough. If you are completely chill with the fact they decided to horrifically animate the 7 dwarves and that they casted Gal Gadot in the role of the evil stepmother, if that's all chill with you, if you are in fact one of the people saying on Rachel Zegler's Instagram comments that Gal Gadot is the fairest of them all, that Rachel Zegler is not your Snow White, might I recommend a reality check? Now think back to when you were an adolescent. 14 for me, personally, was an absolute shit show, and I can't even conceptualize the idea of experiencing that time under public scrutiny. And yet we expect absolute perfection from celebrities. They have absolutely no preparation for what they're going through, because how do you prepare for something like that? And yet the world seems to think that they cannot make a single mistake. Heavens forbid you experiment with your style, change your makeup a bit, or, lo and behold, you stop looking like a 12-year-old. The world really does ask of these young celebrities to be a perfect, utterly flawless, unopinionated piece of meat for them to ogle at. And yet that same world doesn't see a problem with any of that. Why do you care with so much anger that Millie Bobby Brown has dyed her hair and is wearing a different makeup than she used to? She's 21. 21. It's a rite of passage to experiment with fashion and your hair and your makeup as you grow up in a world that is always telling you how they think you should look. Doing that in the public eye is utterly ruthless, but the only one catching any flack for it is Millie herself. Not the people who are writing literal articles, making videos, leaving vicious comments, saying that she looks like a 40-year-old divorcee. How do you think you would have felt if the whole world seemed to hate you for no reason? I'm so proud of Millie for speaking out against the absolute shit she's had to deal with recently And I really have noticed a turn in people standing up for her, especially on TikTok, but also in her own Instagram comments. And unfortunately, there will always be those people who think it is their right and our privilege to hear exactly how we should change ourselves to suit them. And there are many things that I would say to those people, but suffice to leave it at this. Call out bullying. Call out harassment. Don't let your friends talk about anyone, celebrity or otherwise, in a way that dehumanizes them. Because the more we stop thinking of these young women as human, the more media and other people will get away with treating them like they're not.